Hello and welcome to episode 204 of the Daily Sales Message, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff. And I talk very quickly too, so hopefully you can keep up with me. In today's episode, we're talking about damaging words that you shouldn't use because they're going to damage your brand, damage your reputation, damage the opportunities that you have. And I've got a single example and I've got a principle you can work to, because in making this episode I was thinking, what can I do? I'm not going to give you a list of here are the top 100 damaging words you shouldn't say, because it's not very practical, is it? You're not going to be able to do that in conversation in real life. So an opinionated word is a damaging word. That's the first point that I want to make. If we use a word like cheap, so cheap is my example here. If I'm selling to you and I describe my own offering as this is cheaper than this is cheaper than that, etc. Cheap implies low quality. It can be damaging. I'm saying cheap because I'm saying lower price, but it can kind of imply lower quality. But cheap is an opinion and it's a relative concept. Cheap, expensive, affordable, they'll vary depending on who you're talking to and how much the thing is. But it could be potentially damaging. So we have opinionated words and then we have observation words, and that's the difference. So an observation is, this is a lower price. That's not an opinion, it's a lower price. This costs 10, this costs 1,000. That is a lower price. So that is an observation. This is cheaper. That's an opinion. There's no hard and fast rule here, but from my experience, if you're using opinionated words when you're selling to people, you're going to come a cropper. You're going to have difficulty because you're taking the focus away from the buyer, placing onto you. I might not have thought for a million years that something was particularly cheap until you described it as the cheaper model. And maybe I took offense to that because that's the one that I wanted to go for. If you said this is the lower cost model, the lower priced model, the entry level model, observations, not opinions, that's more conducive to conversation. So yes, in today's episode, I'm essentially telling you off, but I'm not giving you a list of 100 words to remember. It's impractical. It's not going to happen. And different words for different situations and businesses, products and services, etc. Just remember, opinionated words versus observation terms, observation words. If you're using opinionated words, you might be on rocky ground. You might want to think about what you're doing. That's it for this episode, this telling off episode of the Daily Sales Message. Tomorrow, in episode 205, yes, I'm taking a quote straight out of the book of Jerry Maguire. And if you don't know who Jerry Maguire is, and if you've never seen the film, please watch the film ahead of tomorrow's episode. I will be asking you questions on that in class, as always. But yes, I'll be talking to you tomorrow about a very, very famous quote from that film, what it means for me personally, and what it means for your buyers too. And as soon as I say it, even if you haven't seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but we've got to be very careful to protect it. That's as intriguing as I can get for now. I'll catch you tomorrow for another exciting edition of the Daily Sales Message.